Everyone thinks Iran is weak, a country struggling under sanctions, economic pressure, and international isolation. On the surface, it looks like a nation that should have collapsed long ago. But here's the part most people don't understand. Despite decades of pressure, Iran is still standing, still resisting, and still forcing global superpowers to calculate every move carefully. That alone should make you question the narrative, because weak countries don't create global tension. Weak countries don't influence oil markets, and weak countries definitely don't make powerful nations hesitate. So maybe the real story is not about weakness. Maybe it's about something much more dangerous: being underestimated. When people think about power, they usually imagine advanced fighter jets, massive economies, and cutting-edge technology. And yes, countries like the United States dominate in those areas. But modern warfare has changed in ways most people don't fully understand. Today, wars are not just about who is stronger on paper, but who is harder to defeat in reality. Strategy, geography, adaptability, and long-term endurance now matter more than raw strength. And this is exactly where Iran becomes a serious challenge. It has spent decades preparing not to dominate the world, but to survive against stronger enemies. And in modern conflict, survival itself can become a form of power. Let's start with the basics. Iran has a large and deeply structured military force. With hundreds of thousands of active personnel and millions more available for mobilization, it has the manpower to sustain long-term conflict. But what makes this force different is not just its size, but its purpose. Unlike traditional militaries designed for global dominance, Iran's military is built around defense, resistance, and survival under pressure. Every system, every training exercise, and every strategic decision is focused on one key idea: how to continue fighting even when facing a stronger opponent. This mindset creates a force that may not look overwhelming, but is extremely difficult to break. Now this is where Iran's real strength starts to become visible: its missile program. Over the years, Iran has invested heavily in developing a wide range of ballistic and cruise missiles capable of reaching targets across the region. Some of these missiles can travel over thousands of kilometers, meaning they can strike key military bases, infrastructure, and strategic positions far beyond its borders. But the real power is not just in distance, it's in volume and unpredictability. Launching multiple missiles at once can overwhelm even advanced defense systems, making it extremely difficult to intercept every threat. And this creates a powerful deterrent. Any attack on Iran will almost certainly be answered. But missiles alone are not enough in modern warfare, and this is where Iran has adapted intelligently. Instead of relying only on expensive weapons, it has developed a strong drone program that focuses on efficiency and scale. Drones are cheaper, easier to produce, and can be deployed in large numbers. Imagine dozens or even hundreds of drones flying toward a target at the same time. Even advanced defense systems struggle to handle that kind of volume. Some drones are used for surveillance, others for direct attacks, and together they create constant pressure. This approach allows Iran to challenge stronger enemies without needing equal resources, and that is a strategic advantage. Now let's talk about something even more powerful than weapons: geography. Iran is located next to one of the most critical oil routes in the world, known as the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow passage is responsible for transporting a massive portion of global oil supply every single day. That means any disruption here, even temporary, can instantly impact global markets. Oil prices rise, supply chains are affected, and economies feel the pressure almost immediately. Iran doesn't need to control the entire world to have influence. It just needs to control a key point, and this strategic position gives it leverage that many larger countries simply don't have. Perhaps the most important concept to understand is how Iran actually fights. It does not rely on traditional direct confrontation like major superpowers. Instead, it uses a strategy known as asymmetric warfare, a method designed to exploit weaknesses rather than match strength directly. This means creating pressure in multiple areas at the same time, making the conflict complex and unpredictable. Instead of one battlefield, there are many. Instead of one type of attack, there are multiple forms of pressure. This forces the opponent to divide attention, resources, and strategy, making the conflict far more difficult to manage, and in many cases, complexity itself becomes a weapon. Another key factor that defines Iran's strength is resilience. For years, it has operated under heavy sanctions, political pressure, and economic challenges. Yet, despite all of this, it continues to function, adapt, and respond. This ability to survive under pressure is not something that can be built overnight. It comes from long-term preparation and experience. In many conflicts, the side that lasts longer often has the advantage, and Iran has clearly prepared for endurance rather than speed. It may not dominate quickly, but it is structured to last, and that makes any conflict with it far more complicated. Now it's important to stay realistic. Iran is not the most powerful country in the world. It faces serious limitations, especially in areas like air power and economic strength. Compared to global superpowers, its resources are more limited, and in a direct, large-scale war, those weaknesses would become visible. But here's the key point. Iran does not rely on fighting in a way that exposes those weaknesses. Instead, it avoids direct comparison and focuses on strategies that level the playing field. This approach allows it to remain competitive even against stronger opponents, which is why it continues to be taken seriously on the global stage. So when people say Iran is weak, they are only looking at one side of the picture. Real power is not always about having the biggest military or the strongest economy. Sometimes, power is about strategy, positioning, and the ability to make conflict too costly for anyone to win. Iran may not dominate the world, but it has built a system that makes it extremely difficult to defeat. And that changes everything. Because in modern warfare, the goal is not always to win quickly. Sometimes it's to make sure no one else can win at all. So the real question is Iran powerful or simply playing a smarter game than everyone else?